ephethe ingane kaKelly uThingo kwakunabanye omakhelwane abakhumbulayo uJulia Masiya kanye noMaggie Phiri.
The reason why I'm referring you to this paragraph is to show you that there are people who remained inside the premises before your arrival, immediately after the deceased was taken out to the hospital.
Imbangela ke ukuthi ngikufundeleke yona le paragraph ukutshengisa ukuthi kunabantu abangena egcekeni la kwaKhumalo nje emuva kokuthi bamthatha umufi bemhambisa esibhedlela.
Okay. Do you hear that? Yes.
Uyakuzwa.
And also that Mr. Themba Khumalo is not the only person who was left at the scene when the deceased was taken to the hospital.
Nokuthi ke ubaba uThemba Khumalo akusiyena kuphela umuntu owasala khona lapha yana ke nkathi bemhambisa umufi ke beya naye esibhedlela. Yes.
And that there are people who had access into the crime scene, even into the house, when they cleaned the house.
Nokuthi ke bakhona ke noma babe khona abantu abakwazi ke ukuthi bangene ngaphakathi endlini nokuthi futhi baze baqline.
Okay. You hear that? Okay. And let's go again to paragraph 13, which says, my lord, the reason I went into the house is because I wanted to see what happened in the house. When we were in the house, I saw water on the floor and the passage near the toilet door. I was amazed to see the water on the floor. Do you see that?
Nokuthi ke imbangela yokuthi ngingene phakathi endlini kwakuwukuthi ngangifisa ukubona ukuthi kwenzekani lapho nokuthi inkathi sengiphakathi ke endlini ngabona amanzi ke phansi ku passage eduze nomnyango wase toilet. Kwangimangaza ke ukuthi ngibone amanzi phansi. Uma ngangazi ke ukuthi kwakungumuntu owayedutshuliwe khona lapho.
And yet when you arrived, you also left the crime scene unattended. By the police.
Nokuthi ke nkathi nifika nina nathi uma nihamba ke nahamba isini leyo nayishiya ke ingagadiwe. Okay.
Paragraph 15. Maggie Phiri started to pick up. I've read this paragraph, my lord. Thank you. Maggie Phiri started to pick up the empties from the floor. I asked her why she's tidying up before the police could arrive at the scene. Maggie responded that she doesn't want the police to see that the people who were inside the house were drinking. Do you hear that?
Nala nokuthi ke uMaggie Phiri waseqala ke uqoqa ke ama empty aye phansi ngambuza ke ukuthi kungani ecleaner ngaphambi kokuthi amaphoyisa afike waphendula ke uMaggie Phiri wathi akafuni ukuthi amaphoyisa abone ukuthi abantu ababe lapho endlini babephuza utshwala.
Do you hear that?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Do you agree with me that this paragraph means that the crime scene was cleaned, the crime scene was tampered with before you arrived?
Uzovumelana ke uyavuma yini uma ngithi kwena ke nje uma ufunda la lokho engiqeda ukufunda manje lokho kuyashoka ukuthi kwa cleaner futhi kwa temperishwa ke la ku crime scene ngaphambi kokuthi nifike nina. Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Paragraph 15 of the same statement. The police arrived at the scene and they went into the house. I can't remember who opened the house for them. They came out and I always saw the police van and I thought the police were always in the vicinity. Later, a contingent of police arrived at the crime scene. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, do you see that when you arrived as the police officers at the crime scene, the witnesses were already looking at you when you arrived, when the crime scene had already been tampered with? In other words, you came after the tampering.
Lana ke engikufuna nje ukuvezela kona ke ukuthi ke manje ngoba uyashoka lana ukuthi kwase kufika amaphoyisa amaningi ngangwabona ngaso sonke isikhathi ukuthi la ngalesikhathi nifika umphakathi babenibona futhi ke nifika kamuva sebelungisile ke noma sebetemperile lapha ya kwisini ngokwale line le ya the statement. Okay.
And the police They closed the gate with the tapes and instructed all the people to go out of the yard and only the family members must remain. You see that?
Lana ke amaphoyisa ase evala ke igate ngawo amathepi base betshela wonke umuntu ukuthi aphumeke egcekeni kusala bomndeni kuphela.
Do you agree with that?
Uyavumelana nalokho? I hear you.
Yes, do you agree with that? That the crime scene was then cordoned off by those police officers.
Ukuthi kwase kukhodinwa ke i-crime scene
And other people were asked to move out of the premises and only the family members that were allowed to remain inside.
Nokuthi ke base bekhishwa kabantu kwathi akusala bomndeni kuphela. I agree, but there were no people inside.
There were no people inside. But the gist of my question is that you see that by the time you cordoned off the crime scene, it had already been tampered with.
Kodwa ke engikuveza kuwena ke ukuthi ngalesikhathi ke senivala ke noma senikhodina office leyana ukuthi kwakusekukhona okwenziwe kwisini leyana.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then let's go. Is it correct that you also made the second statement?
Ingabe kuyiqiniso yini ukuthi sikhona nesesibili statement owasenza?
Dated 12 October 2018.
Sange 12 ka October 2018.
SPA 98. It's an additional statement that you made from the first one that you made immediately after the incident.
Sesibili lesowasenza.
Do you see that statement?
Yes, one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you look at the last page? Do you confirm that is your signature?
Page open.
I think under paragraph 17 there, you know it better than me. I know and understand the contents of this statement.
Yes, it is mine.
You see, it's your signature. And the date it was given to, by you on this particular date.
Wasenza ngale date le bhaliwe la.
Which is the 12th of October 2018. Mr. Mthetho, speak like a police officer now.
Day 12 is October 2018.
Yeah.
Yes.
You used to taking statements at the church office, ne?
I'm going to try to look at it that in the church office.
Or you don't take them?
No, we touch. I do.
Oh, okay. Then let's go together in this statement. Let's go to paragraph 7, Mr.
7.
Mthetho. Or Sergeant. You were a constable by then, am I correct?
Wow, what's up? Ngaleso sikhathi leso angithi. Yes.
And then now what is your rank?
Manje. Surgeon.
Oh, okay. So pardon me if I still refer to you as constable.
Yeah, police umangisathi constable.
Sergeant Mthetho, let's go to paragraph 7, line number 5. I understand, Mr. Mthetho, that the statement was read back to you and you understood it as a police officer. Am I correct?
Wasifundelwa, uyasizwa ke nanjengephoyisa.
Yebo.
Yes.
And when you signed the statement, you confirmed the correctness and the truthfulness of this statement.
Uma usayinda ke uvumelana ke nokuthi kuyiqiniso ke okubhaliwe kusona. Yes.
Okay. Paragraph 7, line number 5. My lord, maybe can I just read the whole paragraph of paragraph 7?
Yes.
Thank you. Paragraph 7 of your statement, Mr. Mthetho, it says, we went back to the house and we met a black male in the yard near the gate. We introduced ourselves and informed him that we are attending to a shooting incident happened in that house. The man identified himself to us as Themba Khumalo, the uncle to Kelly Khumalo. He informed us that he was requested by his sister Gladness Khumalo to guard the house as they were rushing to the hospital.
Lana ke ifundeka ngalendlela sasesibuyela khona ke endlini sahlangana ke nomuntu wesilisa umuntu omnyama egcekeni eduze kwegate sayichaza kuyena ukuthi sihobani naye ke nokuthi size lapho ke ngokuthi sizwileke noma sithola umbiko ukuthi ke kwaba nokudubula okhona lapho endlini wayichaza ke yena nanjengoThemba Khumalo umalume kaKelly Khumalo wasesazisa noma esitshela ke ukuthi wacelwa udadewabo uGladness Khumalo ukuthi abheke umuzi nanjengoba bona besaphuthuma esibhedlela.
Do you understand that statement?
Uyasizwa le statement?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. In other words, it means Themba Khumalo introduced to yourself as uncle of Kelly Khumalo.
Ukusho ukuthi uma eyichaza yena kuwena washo ukuthi umalume kaKelly Khumalo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a brother to Miss Gladness Makhumalo. If I say Makhumalo, I'm referring to Gladness. the mother.
Nokuthi ke umfowabo kaGladness Khumalo uMakhumalo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yet, as a police officer, you decided to leave the crime scene with a person who was a relative to the suspects.
How did he know that? On the 26th of October.
Can I just rephrase it, madam?
Yes. Nobody knew who were the
Mr.
suspects.
Mtetwa, is it correct that at that time you did not know who the suspect and who was not the suspect?
Ngabe kuyiqiniso yini ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso ke ngalelanga nanile khona lapha naningazi ukuthi ubani abasola obani engasibona abasolwa.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your duty there was to protect, was to safeguard the crime scene regardless of having any knowledge of a relationship between the people who were inside the house, but to anyone who is accessing the crime scene.
Kodwa ke okwenu lapho kwakuwukuthi nje nigade nokuthi ni safeguard ke umuzi loyana nokuthi lo muntu lowo uhlobeneke noma uumndeni noma akasiwona umndeni ukuthi nje nina nigade nje isini ukuthi ungabi namuntu ongenayo khona lapha yana.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was, sorry, my lord, not that was, that was a duty on you as the police officer to make sure that the crime scene is not accessed
Kwakunina ke
by
maphoyisa.
any other people.
Kwakunina ke maphoyisa ukuthi nenze isiqiniseko sokuthi lapha yana akungeni nje abanye abantu.
Yeah.
Yes.
And including Mr. Themba Khumalo.
Kanye naye uThemba Khumalo loyo.
It was within your powers as the SAPS, after seeing out inside that there are exhibits inside there, to say, give us the house keys, we are now going to take over control of this house as police officers.
Nokuthi ke nithi kuyena ke emuva kokuthi seningenileke endlini nabona ke ukuthi kunani ke ngaphakathi nithi kuyena ke sinikeze ikhiya manje ke sekuzoba yithina ke manje abazolawula ke noma bazocontrola la.
Ungena ke endlini noma nalendoda yaKhumalo umalume. Ayikho into ayisitshela ukuthi kwenzakele something lapha endlini.
When we entered the house together with the Khumalo gentlemen, nothing informed us that something had happened in that house.
Yeah, but you had been reported
Kodwa ke nanitsheliwe.
what had happened. And there is a report that you received from the station, Mr. Mtetwa. I don't want us to dwell on that.
Nokuthi
You have
ke-
received the complaint. By the time you left at the station, you knew very well when you entered there. And it was confirmed that there is a shooting incident that has taken place here.
Uma nihamba stage nani utholile umbiko nanazi ukuthi niyapi futhi kwenzakeleni la eniya khona.
Noma ngabe utholile umbiko kodwa nawe kumele mawufika la uyakhona ube nebelief yokuthi vele khona into eyenzakele la if kungekho umuntu okutshenayo ukuthi kwenzakalani.
Also, even if you had received a report, but when you get to that particular scene, you also need to have that belief in the absence of anyone telling you as to what had happened.
Mr. Mtetwa, I put it to you that you were reckless and ignorant in not safeguarding the crime scene after you had received the report that there had been a shooting incident.
Naba reckless ke ngendlela yokuthi ke ningabheki ke ninganakekeli noma nivikeleke i-crime scene leyana futhi ukuthi nje anizange ninaba reckless anizange ninake futhi ekuthini nibheke ke noma ni safeguard i-scene.
And
That point has been made ad nauseum. We submit that it's a matter that should be left for argument.
Argument, eh?
Witnesses commented on that aspect several times.
But life also doesn't teach us all the answers. There are two policemen that come to investigate a shooting, as you correctly say, at 133, 155, Kutwano Street. They find the uncle, let's put it like this, the brother to Mrs. Kumalo,
Yes, Mama.
who is left with the trust that because you're a relative, look after my house.
Yes.
That is a factual situation.
But
Now,
Mama,
wait. I want to tell Mr. Kumalo, hayi phuma lapha endleleni. Ngisafuna ukuphenya. Life doesn't work like that. That's why he says he wanted to know what is happening. And Kumalo, being helpful, he says, you know what? I don't know the real facts. I'm guarding the house for my sister Gladness. They're at hospital. Go and find out from that. I mean, it's reasonable.
my lord, it is reasonable in the eyes of the court. But with me,
No, of human experience.
my lord, of human experience,
Yes.
but with me, my submission, my lord, is that the witness, as the police officers, after entering inside the house and after
And who opens up for them?
and after having received the report from Mr. Temba Kumalo, as the police officers, my lord, they ought to have taken control of the crime scene. As the police officer, they ought to have taken control of the crime scene.
And chase away Temba Kumalo.
And instruct Temba Kumalo to wait outside in order to safeguard the tampering of the crime scene.
And at that time, they don't know what has happened in the house.
Now it appears that Temba Kumalo is an uncle to a
Yes.
person who is a suspect in
It's
this
an
matter.
afterthought, you're right. After.
So that's why
Apprising themselves of the situation. Now they know that actually, even Senzo, Meyiwa, is the person who was shot. After.
Yes.
But it's okay to foresee the future without having the background knowledge.
But my point, my
Okay,
lord,
fine, you have made your point. I'm
my
just saying.
point is that the police officers, it is their duty to safeguard the crime scene on their arrival at the crime scene.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, that's the point I'm making.
Okay.
And now, do you see that the person who happened to be an uncle of one of the suspects is the one who was left with the house?
How could he have known before then? We only know, when was that docket, the second docket opened, Mr. Mnisi?
In January of 2019.
That's it. It's general knowledge that the second docket is opened in January 2019. After how many years? After the first one? After 5 years. That's the point. So nobody knew that their so-called relatives, the sisters, the brothers, their suspects. Nobody knew until 2019 July. That's fact. Not speculation.
That's fact, my lord, but my point is, had you done your job properly?
Okay.
Yes, my lord.
Okay.
Had you done your job properly as a police officer, do you Mr. Mtetwa, do you know what else, what other instructions were given to Mr. Kumalo, who was given the keys and who was asked to guard the house?
Ngabe uyazi yini ukuthi yikuphi okunye abakutshelwa noma abaku-instructwa ubaba uKhumalo?
How will the witness know that? Is he expected to speculate? He never testified about it.
If
Yes,
the
Mr. Mshololo.
my lord, if the witness doesn't know, he doesn't. You need to answer, my lord.
Even if it's
If he
hearsay.
doesn't, even if he doesn't have the answer, he must say that I don't have any response.
Mr. Mtetwa, are you able to respond?
Ikuphi okunye abakutshelwa ubaba uKhumalo lo njengoba wayeshiwe nesikhiya ukuthi akabheke umuzi, ikuphi okunye abakutshelwa noma amanye ama-instructions awanikwa?
Angikwazi awani.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Okay.
The second statement that was made by Kukungo Beni is statement 1A118. My lord, I'll read the whole statement, although I just want to
Which one
refer
is
this
that? The one
witness.
Is that the one of Gugu?
It's Queen Gugu Ngubeni, yes, my lord.
The one who was lying on her bed
Yes, my
and
lord.
jumped out.
Yes, my lord.
Undaba. And then he goes there and says, I'm going to remove the alcohol so that the police mustn't find it.
Can I just read it, my lord, so that you...
Now, I've heard you read it. That's why I'm quoting it.
Not the
You
one
can,
for
quote,
Sil-
you can quote what you are disputing, or if saying it's unreasonable of him or her.
Okay. So, without reading everything.
Is it not the same statement you read?
No, it's not, my lord. The first one
Or
I
is that
read...
Gugu is the daughter to the lady who was lying on bed at 8 o'clock?
Yes, my lord. The one I read is for Silva Happy Ngubeni.
Yes, yes. that's
I'm
the-
done with that.
Yeah, Silva is the mother to Gugu.
Yes, then now I'm reading for Queen Gugu Ngubeni.
Okay, fine.
Okay, thank you. Let's start, it's statement 118. Can I start? Okay. My lord, I will start from paragraph 3, also skip the particulars of a witness. On the 26th of October approximately, after 2000, I was at my parents' residence. The address is given for Sloras. I was in the outside room in the yard with daughter watching TV. We were watching the 2020 movie. I can't remember the name of the movie. Paragraph 3. You see that one?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to read. Okay. Uchaza lona ke uGugu bekufundwe esika Sylvia kuqala manje ke uGugu lona indodakazi yakhe ke uSylvia nge 26 October 2014 isikhathi kwaku nje emuva ke ko8 ngangisendlini ke yabazali bami chaziwe ke iaddress eFosloras ngapha kwigumbi elingaphandle ke egcekeni kanye nendodakazi sibuke iTV sasibheke imovie ka8 ebusuku angisalikhumbuli igama layo.
I heard a bang outside and I thought it was Nonhlanhla's from outside door hitting on the wall on her shack. She's mentally ill and usually bangs the wall of her shack. Whilst watching TV, I felt slumbering and I decided to go to the house to sleep.
Ngezwa ke umsindo ngacabanga ukuthi uNonhlanhla ke wakumakhelwane noma wase next door oshaya ke obondeni lomphukhu wakhe akaphathekileke kahle engqondweni futhi uvamisile ke ukuthi ashaye ubonda lomphukhu wakhe ngathi ngisabheke iTV ngazizwa ke ukuthi ngiyozela ngase ngithatha isinqumo sokuthi ngiye endlini ngiyolala.
Paragraph 5, before I reached the door of the main house, I heard noise at the street, people shouting, speaking loud. I went to the gate and washed in the street. I saw a small crowd standing at the Khumalo's house and the Ngashe family standing in the yard. I then went to the Khumalo's house. I was carrying my daughter. On arrival in the Khumalo, I found Zandi, Kelly, and 2 other guys putting Senzo into his vehicle.
Ngaphambi kokuthi ngifike ke eminyango wasendlini ngezwa ke umsindo esitradini abantu bememeza ke bekhulumela phezulu ngahamba ke ngaya egateini ngamakhona ke ngabuka esitradini ngabona abantu bemi kwaKhumalo futhi ke nabakwaNgqashe bemi nabo ke egcekeni labo ngase ngiyake kwaKhumalo la ngangiphethe indodakazi yami mangifika khona lapho ngathola uZandi uKheli kanye nabalisa ababili befaka uSenzo emotweni yakhe.
Paragraph 7, I heard people saying that Senzo was shot by criminals. Mrs. Julia Masia was also in the yard. She came to me and took my daughter from me. Makhumalo came to me and handed to me Tingo, Kelly's daughter, house keys and a cell phone.
Ngase ngizwa ke abantu bethi uSenzo udutshulwa igebengu uJulia Masiya wayesegcekeni naye ke weza kumina ke wasithatha indodakazi yami uMakhumalo weza kumina ke wanginikeza uThingo indodakazi kaKheli ikhiya zasendlini kanye ne-cell phone.
I later realized that the cell phone belongs to Senzo because people were phoning looking for Senzo. I remember Opa Manisa, Orlando Pirates captain and Mama J. the Pirates fan, sorry my lord, phoned looking for Senzo and I gave my mom the phone to answer.
Kamuva ke ngase ngithola ke ukuthi kwakucingo lolo luka Senzo ngoba ke abantu babefuna befuna uSenzo ngikhumbula ke uPamanyisa uCaptain wePirates kanye noMama J Mama Joy okumlandeli weOrlando Pirates naye ke efuna uSenzo ngase nginikeza uma wami ifoni ukuthi ayiphendule.
Paragraph 9, I don't know when did my mom arrive at the scene. I saw her standing in the yard with Mapiri, in brackets Maggie, Julia next the kitchen door, the wall that separates the wall that separates the Ngasha yard and the Kumalo. The Ngashas were standing in their yard. It was Noma Kaye, and Mr. Ngashe.
Angazi ke ukuthi uma wami wafika nini lapho ngambona ke emi egcekeni kanye noMaphiri uMegi uJulia eduze ke kwesigaba sasekitchen eduze kobonda oluhlukanisa kwaNgqashe igceke la kaNgqashe kanye nelakaKhumalo abakwaNgqashe babemi egcekeni bona ke kwakunoma ukhaya kanye nobabuNgqashe.
Paragraph 11, I went to stand with them carrying Tingo. The door and the burglar door of the kitchen were outside opened. Later I saw Temba and his wife in the yard. While standing there with my mom and others neighbors, my mom suggested that the police must be summoned to the scene.
Ngase ngiyake ngiyoma kanye nabo ke ngiphethe uThingo stapa ke sase kanye nebagla zase kitchen zazivuliweke kamuva ke ngase ngibona uThemba Khumalo kanye futhi nenkosikazi wakhe bese egcekeni ngathi ngimilo ke lapho kanye noma wami kanye nabanye omakhelwane wabesethi uma wami ke akubizwe amaphoyisa.
Paragraph 12, my mom is happy Ngubane. I heard Mapiri saying no, we must not call the police. Kaya Ngashe then called the police and reported the incident. Mapiri suggested that we go inside the house to check what happened.
Uma wami happy Ngubeni ngezwa ke uMaphiri ethi cha awangafonelwa amaphoyisa wase ukhaya Ngashe ke ewafonela amaphoyisa wabika ke udaba lolo. uMaphiri wabesethi ke asingene ngaphakathi endlini siyobheka ukuthi kwenzekeni.
Paragraph 13, she walked in front followed by my mom and Julia. I followed from behind and Temba with his wife followed me. I went into the house until the kitchen wall, the fridge. I heard my mother saying, "Where does this water come from?" in the passage. I then looked towards the passage and saw water on the floor.
Wahamba phambili ke elandela uma wami kanye noJulia ngalandela ke ngasemuva noThemba nonkosikazi wakhe ke balandela mina ngase ngena ke endlini ngaze ngayofinyelela ke ekitchen eduze kwefridge ngezwa uma ebuza ke noma ethi abuyapi lamanzi asepassage ngabheka ke ngasepassage ngabona ke amanzi phansi.
Paragraph 15, I further heard my mother saying, "Mapiri, why are you tidying up?" before the police could arrive at the scene. I didn't see what was she doing or removing. I went outside, and when I was outside, Temba said the house must be locked, everybody must go outside. I then gave him the key and everybody was outside the house. Temba locked the house.
Ngase ngizwa ke uma wami ethi kuMaphiri kungani uklina ngaphambi kokuthi amaphoyisa afike khona lapho angizange ngiboneke ukuthi yini awayeyenza noma ke eyisusa. Ngase ngiphumela ngaphandle ke ngathi uma ngingaphandle ngezwa uThemba ethi indlu kuzofanele ukuthi ikhiyeke wonke umuntu aphumele ngaphandle. Ngase ngimnikeza ke isikhiya wonke umuntu wasephumela ngaphandle ke uThemba wase ekhiya endlini.
When my mother, paragraph 16, my lord, when my mother was asking that why Mapiri was tidying up, she responded that she doesn't want people to see that they were drinking later. Nomakaya took Tingo, saying it was cold, and myself and Kaya went to the hospital. And that hospital I found Zandi and sat with her. Pirates players arrived and wanted to enter into the hospital ward by force. That is when I learned that Senzo had passed on. He went back to the Kumalo. Is it he or we went back to the Kumalo houses and could enter into the yard because however, we could enter in the yard because the police now cut it off.
We could not.
I think it's
Couldn't.
supposed to be we could not, yes.
We couldn't.
Yes. Can it just read it as that, my lord? Cutting off the house and people were not allowed inside the house.
Nkathi uma wami embuza-ke uMaphiri ukuthi kwakunganike eklina waphendula-ke wathi akafuni ukuthi abantu baboneke ukuthi babephuza. Kamuva-ke uNomakhaya wasethatha uThingo ethi-ke kuyabanda. Mina-ke noKhaya sahamba saya esibhedlele-ke ngathola uZandi ngaze ngahlala naye-ke. Abadlali bePirates bafika-ke futhi befuna-ke ungena njenge-force khona-ke kwiwodi leyo. Ila angezwa khona-ke ukuthi uSenzo useshiyile noma akasekho emhlabeni. Sabuyela khona-ke kwaKhumalo kodwa-ke azange sikwazi-ke ungena igcekeni ngoba amaphoyisa ayesevalile-ke endlini futhi nabantu bengavunyelwa ukuthi bangene phakathi.
Paragraph 18, the last paragraph. He stood outside in the street. I later saw Makumalo and gave her the cell phone. When I went to the hospital, the police didn't yet arrive at the scene. At the hospital, Zandi was with Ntabiseng when I found her.
Sema ngaphandle-ke estradini kamuva-ke ngabona uMakhumalo ngase ngimnikeza-ke ucingo. Uma ngiya esibhedlele amaphoyisa ayengekafiki-ke kwindawo yesigameko. Esibhedlele uZandi wayendawonye noNthabiseng ngathi ngimthola.
The statement was signed by the witness on the 10th of July 2018 at Togoza.
Lo fakazi-ke wasayinda-ke le statement ingeyi-10 zikaJuly 2018 khona eThokoza.
The paragraph that I wanted to refer you to is paragraph 15 only.
Paragraph 50 kuphela-ke ebengifuna ukukhuluma nawe ngaye.
Which says, I further heard my mother saying, Mapiri, why are you tidying up before the police could arrive at the scene?
La ithi khona-ke ngase ngizwa-ke uma wami embuza noma ethi kuMaphiri kungani uklina ngaphambi kokuthi amaphoyisa afike.
I didn't see what was she doing or removing. I went outside, and when I was outside, Temba said the house must be locked, everybody must go outside.
Angizange ngikubone-ke awayekwenza noma awayekususa ngaphumela ngaphandle ngathi uma sengingaphandle-ke uThemba wathi kufanele indlu ikhiwe nokuthi wonke umuntu kufanele aphumele ngaphandle-ke. Ngase ngimnikeza-ke ikhiya wonke umuntu waphumela ngaphandle uThemba wakhiya endlini.
I've already referred you to the statement of the mother of Queen, but I just want you to see that this is the second person I was confirming that the crime scene was cleaned off before you arrived.
Lokhu-ke bese ngikufundile ngaphambilini kwistatement esikama wakhe ukuthi nje ngifisa nje ukuthi ngikhombise ukuthi umuntu wesibili-ke manje oshoyo ukuthi impela kwaklinwa laphaya. Okay.
And also I wanted to show you that the Temba Kumalo, whom you met at the crime scene, was not the first person who had handled the keys for the house before you arrived.
Nokuthi-ke uThemba Khumalo enamfica nina laphayana kwangasi umuntu wokuqala-ke okwakuyena owaphethe iy'khiya ngaphambi kokuthi nifike.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, my lord. I have.
We just want to point out that in the paragraph that my learned friend has read, this witness is saying, I didn't see what was she doing or removing. So I don't understand my learned friend's contention that this supports what the witness mother is saying when she herself says she didn't see what Mapiri was doing.
Yes. Okay.
No, my lord, I think I was just putting the emphasis to say there's another
Okay,
person
fine.
who
All right.
witnessed the crime scene being tampered with.
Okay. Any re-examination?
My lord, before I wrap up with my cross-examination, the witness said he will bring tomorrow the list of the qualifications.
How is it going to help this court?
It it is going to assist the defense, my lord,
In what way?
in conducting its case.
In what way?
Yes, checking the experience and the qualifications of the witness, because there are so many things that were not done properly. And then we will understand if he was just a junior constable without any
He
qualifications.
was a junior constable. He said I was a constable, 5 years experience.
Or with some qualifications of which we'll have to see
Okay, fine.
if there is any weight to attach to those qualifications.
Okay. Are you available tomorrow, Mr. Mthetho?
Ngiyabonga.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
You must bring that
Amakhosi.
resume, curriculum resume.
The courses that we attended.
Yeah.
You're referring to the courses?
Yes,
Yeah.
and the matric as well.
Uzobuya ke.
Thank you, my lord.
So we have.
Mr.
Where's the-
Aloy? Any re-examination?
As a court, please, my lord, just two aspects.